this house is for us to ensure that we plan our businesses right, we execute those plans, and we also focus on ensuring that we pray over our plans. We have a phenomenal lady in the house. Her name is Biola Adediran, and she's renowned for doing this. She has a beautiful resume. I will not belabor us with her resume. It's right on the group. It's right on our Instagram handle. Babiola has very extensive experience in business consulting. By the way, when I was starting one of my businesses, it was her company that worked with us for business setup, structuring the business in a way that it can run on its own. Until today, I credit the fact that that business runs on its own to Biola. So she knows our onions. She's a partner in the Junior family office. She, beyond doing business consulting, she also does investment management for families and ensures that people can pass businesses on, wealth on from generation to generation. She's built businesses. She's worked with different organizations, international and local, to build organizations. And so there's no better fit than Biola for us today. In just a moment, I'm going to hand over to her. She's going to take off from here. I expect us to please take our pens and paper, make sure that we write, we take notes, and we go on from here to make our plans in detail so that we can truly thrive by design. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you so much, Biola, for being here with us. We do not take your time for granted at all. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to moving on from here to do major stuff with everything that we would learn today. So I'm just going to make you host now, and then we can take on from there. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you so much. Please confirm that you can hear me loud and clear.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
Hello, Biola.
Yes, I'm here. Okay. If admin can help me to mute everyone, I think it would really be.
So everyone is muted, but kindly unmute now.
Okay, yes. I see that I've unmuted myself. Please, good evening, everybody. Abiola Adediro, I'm a partner at Junior Family Office, as Ibukun has mentioned. And my mission basically is to help individuals and family businesses grow their wealth, preserve their legacies, and be able to pass it on to the next generation. And obviously, one of your legacies is your business, right? I'm very passionate about building sustainable businesses, and part of the work that I do, especially with SMEs in my consulting firm, is to help them structure so that they can grow and scale. So it's a pleasure to be here this evening. It's evening in this part of the world. I'm joining you from Lagos, Nigeria. In case there are people here who are joining from other parts of the world, I just want to say a very, very big welcome to you. This session is going to be very short and sharp. I understand I have a very, very short time, but I'm going to try and push as much as I can within the time that we have. So please just stay glued, write, take copious notes, put your questions down. You can write in the chat. Hopefully when I'm done, I'll be able to take some of those questions. Admin, please, if you can put me on spotlight, that'll be good as well, so that everybody can see me.
So you're now host.
All right, fantastic. Thank you. So I can put myself on spotlight, I presume. Okay, yes. Fantastic. Thank you. So it's a joy to be here. Not just as entrepreneurs and professionals. I believe we're largely entrepreneurs, right? People that run businesses. Are we all women, or there are men or women? I just want to be sure, because I prepared
We're largely women. Maybe one or two men will be amongst us, but
okay.
It's largely women, and it's a women community.
Fantastic. Okay, because I plan to speak to women. There's a way we speak to ourselves. There's a way we connect.
I know.
Beyond cerebral knowledge, right? There's a way we connect with ourselves as women. So I believe that for the most part, this session is not just going to be conversation about just business. We're going to also link it to biblical insight that lend itself to the conversation that we're having today, because I believe that this is also a Christian community where kingdom women and men, of course, the few men that do join, who are definitely stewarding businesses that are called to bring value, to bring transformation, and to bring generational impact. And I'm a big proponent of generational impact. I'm a big proponent of sustainability in business. So it's such a privilege to be with you in this powerful session, in a room that is filled with visionary kingdom women and men building businesses for profit and also for purpose. Now, we are halfway through the year. We're in June 2025. And just like yesterday, we were setting goals at the beginning of the year, and I'm sure we did set business goals, right, at the beginning of the year. So it's half year, right? And just like God placed light in the sky to mark times and seasons, when you read the book of Genesis, especially Genesis chapter 1, verse 14, it talks about times and seasons and how God, marked the sky with light so that it can demarcate light from darkness, day from night, right? So even though God did that, and because God understood times and seasons, this moment, this particular session is what I will call your own divine checkpoint. Okay. And typically half year as well is also a check-in time in terms of how you have fared in your business since the beginning of the year. And this time is not just about reviewing numbers only. It's about realigning your purpose or realigning with your purpose, because there was a reason you started this business beyond just making money, right? It's about realigning with purpose. It's about recalibrating your energy. There is a sense in which we have gone on in the last 6 months, and it's been back to back, back to back, back to back, hustling, grinding, as it were, right? So half year is a time for you to recalibrate that energy so that you can go on full throttle for the next 6 months at the end of the year, and then of course beyond. And of course, half time is also a time for you to redesign the second half of the year with intention and with kingdom focus. It's a time to pause. It's a time to reflect. It's a time to realign with divine wisdom so that we can design the second half more intentionally and more purposefully. So I'm going to speak briefly in terms of understanding times and seasons in business, because you really cannot set goals that are aligned with purpose, that have kingdom focus, without understanding times and seasons and how this impact your business. In the books of First Chronicle, chapter 12, verse 32, I hope it's okay to quote scriptures, right?
Yes, this is a Christian community.
Okay, so it says the sons of Issachar understood the times and knew what Israel should do. You are the sons of Issachar in this moment, in these times, who should have understanding of the times and who should know what you should do in the second half of the year. So as women of faith in business, as men of faith in business, we are not just called to hustle, okay? We are called to discern the seasons in our business. And we must not just be doers, okay? We must not just be action takers. Yes, we must take actions. We must execute. But that will not be enough for us as kingdom business owners. We must be discerners. We must be people that discern the times and seasons that we are in our business. And why does this matter? Every business operates within the larger economic and spiritual ecosystem. I'm sure we know that. And when we fail to understand the times, we either miss divine timing or we burn out just pushing what's not ripe or what's the time has not come for, right? I'm sure we understand, what the right timing can do for new business launches or new product launches. If you launch a product, for instance, at the time that the market is not ready for it, you're just going to be burning the candle from both ends, and you may not achieve the level of success that you want. Okay, so it's about understanding the times and seasons. Where are we from a macroeconomic level, right? Where are you in your business, which is your own business ecosystem? What's going on in your industry? Okay, what seasons are you in your own business? What does this, and when you look at the global economy, when you look at the Nigerian economy, for those of us that are in Nigeria, and then when you look at your industry, you are able to discern and get insight in terms of what is happening around you, because your business does not operate in isolation. Your business operates in this ecosystem, and you need to be discerning to be able to know when to position and how to position your business. What does this really mean for your business? I mean, in terms of looking at the, macro, the micro, and then looking into your industry and then looking inward into your business as well. What does it mean for your business? It means knowing when to push growth and when to consolidate. There are times where it's okay for you to push growth because the market is ready for it. And there are times where you stay put. I was, talking to a number of my clients, there was that time where dollar was just doing its own thing, right? And a lot of businesses could not even really set proper goals. Like, you had to keep changing your strategy almost every week because the dollar was just really not giving people the right kind of direction that they needed for their business, because everything just kept changing. Now, there are times where you may need to pause. There are times where it may be time for you to just consolidate on what you've been building. And there are times where you need to build actively. That's when you're pushing out new products. That's when you're launching new branches. That's where you're getting into new partnerships. It's important for you to understand when it's time to push for aggressive growth and when it's time for you to consolidate. It's important for you to know when to expand. It's important for you to know when to restructure and when to wait. That is understanding times and seasons. Understanding what is happening in the macro economy, your exchange rate, inflation, the different policy shifts, even the spiritual atmosphere and your industry-specific circles. Understanding all of these things is important for your business. Also, observing the spiritual seasons for you as a business owner. Asking, is this a season for building? Is this a season for expanding? Is this a season for resting? Is this a season for restructuring? Because oftentimes when we say, let's set business goals, people really don't even know where to go about it, other than, oh, we made 100 million last year. This year, let's shoot for 200 million. Other than that. And many times we don't meet our goals because there are many things that we're supposed to consider that we really don't consider. In terms of even market readiness, in terms of what is going on in the larger ecosystem. Imagine a woman running a fashion business who is beginning to sense that her business is being called to pivot from just ready to wear to bespoke bridal pieces, because there's now a rising demand and there is divine direction for greater depth and not just breadth. So imagine that. If you don't know when it's time for you to pivot, you may still be doing the old thing, expecting bigger results, but the result is not coming because you're supposed to pivot. So if you're not discerning enough to know when it's time for you to pivot, you will be burning out, yet you will not get the result that you're supposed to get. Imagine someone running a food supply business in Nigeria and the cost of logistics has skyrocketed. Your season might be about streamlining your operations and investing in tech, and not necessarily aggressive expansion. Because the reality is that when you expand aggressively, the reality of the rising cost of logistics would impact all the different branches or whatever that you're expanding into. And it may mean that you are doing so much, but your profit margin is shrinking. Or just the headache and the overwhelm that comes with managing logistics on a daily basis, and the attendant cost that also comes with it will mean that your cost structure is ballooned. And then at the end of the day, you're barely breaking even. Do you see? So it may mean that that is the time for you to begin to streamline operations and begin to look at automating things and leveraging technology to be able to curtail that and manage your costs as much as possible. It's also a time for you to do a spiritual check-in where you're asking God, Lord, what season is my business in? What are you asking me to build or pause on in this quarter? Don't assume. Discern. That's why we're kingdom people. We're not supposed to operate like everybody else because we have the kingdom advantage. We have the spiritual advantage that allows us to be able to discern what other people cannot even pick that is happening. And I'm sure you know that everything that is happening in the physical already took place in the spiritual. So if you're discerning, you should be 10 steps ahead of everybody else in your industry. Do you see? I started to talk about family offices when nobody knew about what a family office is. It's just now that the rest of the world are just catching up with it. I remember when I launched my consulting business in 2018 as well. Nobody knew that there was going to be anything like remote work or working virtually or doing business virtually or working with virtual teams. But that was the model I started to work with in 2018. I never knew that a world will come where we will work virtually, where we will deal with our clients virtually, where we will work with our teams virtually. That was the model I had to crack because at that time I was still in a 9-to-5 and I was launching this part-time consulting business that I knew that I could not be physically on ground to operate, but I needed to crack a model that still makes it work. And that was what I came up with at the time. It's about understanding that spiritual discernment that helps you to revisit your business model and begin to ask yourself what changes are necessary in this season. Why is goal setting important? I would say that goal setting is a spiritual act of faith. Because the Bible says in Habakkuk 2:2, it says, write the vision and make it plain. Proverbs 16 verse 3 also says, commit your plans to the Lord and he will establish them. So goal setting is not just a corporate buzzword. For us as kingdom women and men, it's an act of stewardship and alignment. Okay? So business goals are not just corporate jargons. For us, they are tools of obedience. Goal setting is a tool of obedience and stewardship. So why should you set goals? So that you're not just running on, fumes. Goals bring us clarity and focus. As a matter of fact, as a business founder and as a leader of your business, clarity is the leadership tool. If you cannot provide clarity to your team, you may find that your team begins to even lose steam. They may begin to lose momentum because it feels like they're just shooting in darkness. There's no clear focus of what they're trying to achieve. Everybody is just doing same old, same old, same old, without necessarily hitting a specific target or the target being clear to them in terms of what they're really trying to achieve. So goal setting brings clarity and focus. And as a matter of fact, you should do it with your team. Don't do it alone. Of course, in the quiet place, inquire of the Lord so that God also gives you strategic focus. And then you can share that with your team. Without goals, you are merely reacting. You're not building. Okay? Goals keep you from chasing every trend and burning out. You're not supposed to chase on every trend that everybody is chasing on. It may not be for you. It may not be the best use of your time. God may not be calling you there. If you do what everybody else is doing, you may find that you may not get the result that you want. And then you'll have gone on a journey that God did not send you. Goals help you to measure if you're making an impact and not just income. Okay? Goals help you to partner with God in a structured way. Goals help you to measure faithfulness, not just results. If God has given you an instruction, He helps you to see how well you're on track with that. Imagine someone that is running a beauty brand, for instance, saying something like, I want to grow my business, right? And that's a goal. The question I will ask is, what does growth looks like? Like, you want to grow your business. How? Is it by acquiring 100 new clients? Does increase of about 5 million in your monthly revenue, does that look like the growth you're looking for? Does growth look like new distribution partnerships, for instance? You can't manage what you have not defined. So you need to define what that growth looks like. Now, what are the common reasons why kingdom men and women don't set goals? They say things like, I'm just trusting God. You know, there's a way we do this, our Christianese, and we just bring all those things into how we run our business. And so you hear someone say something like, oh, I'm just trusting God, right? You're just trusting God. Yes, trust God. But faith without strategy is just noise, okay? Someone could also say something like, I'm just following, or I'm just flowing with the Spirit. I'm just flowing with the Spirit. Yes, God honors flows. Yeah, He does. But He also expects fruit. And fruit requires planning. In fact, as a matter of fact, I want us to read the book of John 15. You know, when I read it, it just really highlighted something for me. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to read this particular one. I can give you all the other scriptures to go check out. So John chapter 15, verse 5 to 8, it says, I am the vine, you are the branches. I'm reading the Message translation. When you are joined with me and I with you, the relation intimate and organic, the harvest is sure to be abundant. Separated, you can't produce a thing. Anyone who separates from me is dead wood, gathered up and thrown on the bonfire. But if you make yourself at home with me, and my words are at home in you, you can be sure that whatever you ask will be listened to and acted upon. This is how my Father shows who He is when you produce grapes, when you mature as my disciples. I just feel like this is really like profound. When I read it, I'm like, when you partner with God, when the relationship is intimate and organic, you can be sure to reap bountiful harvest. But if you are separated, you're already dead wood. That's what the word of God is saying. And I think that is really profound. Some other people will say something like, oh, I don't want to box God. I don't want to box God in, or I don't want to limit God. That's why I'm not really setting goals, because I know that my God is more than able and whatever. I agree with you. God is more than able. But your goals doesn't limit God. Okay? Setting goals does not limit God. It invites Him in. God often blesses plans that align with His purpose. Somebody else could say something like, I don't have time to sit down and plan. Then you will keep repeating circles. That's what is going to happen. In the Bible, if you read the book of Nehemiah chapter 2, Nehemiah had a burden, right? He had a burden, but he also had a timeline. He had a budget. He had a project plan. He even had legal cover. Remember what he negotiated with the king and what he said the king should do for him. He got legal cover. How much more you in business in today? So goals are so important, irrespective of what your spiritual disposition is. Goals are very important and is a way of inviting God in. Is a way to say, God, this is what I see. Is this what you are saying? okay? And God can guide you in that journey. Now, let me talk very quickly about 6 core business areas that you should be setting goals in. 6 core business areas that you should be setting goals in. Let's get practical as much as possible. Your business is not just one big thing, all right? It's made up of several moving parts, and each of them needs clear direction. Okay, so I'm just going to take it one after the other. The number one goal that you must be setting in your business, number one, financial goals. As you know, every business thrives on cash flows, right? Financial goals, which is your revenue and income goals. Bible says in Matthew chapter 25, verse 15, he gave them talents, each according to their ability. God will not commit to you resources that you don't have capacity to manage. Do you see? So you need to set financial goals. What's your monthly or quarterly revenue target? What are you working on? What are you working with? What target are you setting? How do you cascade that down to your team? Sales goal by product or by service. So you have several product lines. What goals are you setting per product in terms of how much revenue you want to make per product or per service line? Okay, because that aggregated is what helps you to then achieve what your monthly revenue target is. There are months where you realize that there are certain products that you should just go and rest because there's no demand for them. And then there's some other ones that you want to push in a particular time, either because they're seasonal or because there is high demand for them or whatever reason. Okay, but you have to be able to set your goals and break it down to the level of products, services. What are we looking at? Your big revenue goal needs to be broken down by service or by product lines, okay? Think also in terms of new customer acquisition. How many new customers do we want to acquire in the next half year or in the next quarter, okay? Think also in terms of your profit margins. What profit margin are you working with? So that you can track yourself month on month and see how you're faring on that. And then, of course, maybe managing your cost as much as possible, expense reduction. There are times where you're not able to push your top line so much, but you have to work on your cost structure so that your expenses are reduced to the barest minimum. Remember, revenue minus expenses is profit, right? So how much profit you make is a function of both variables, revenue and your expenses. So if your expenses are growing even as your revenue is growing, guess what? Your profit is going to be little or maybe nothing at all, or maybe even losses as the case may be. So those two things are things you definitely, must keep your eye on as a business founder. Like I said, you cannot grow what you're not tracking. So revenue goals help you to assess your stewardship of the resources that God has entrusted you with. I had a coaching session with one of my clients 2 days ago, and this was exactly the conversation that we were having. And I said to her, it looks to me like you're not even sweating your assets enough. You're complaining to me that the business is not growing. How are you sweating your assets, including the human capital that you have? And then she realized that they had some trucks that have not been actively working. I said, but these trucks are things that you can sublease to other people. Let other companies borrow or rent these trucks. You're not using it because there's a bit of downtime in your business. Must you just pack the trucks? Can you not put the trucks out there so that other people can rent it and then you make some income from there? You also should go and check which assets do you have in your business that you're not sweating as much, including your human capital. Okay, let's say you run a logistics business, for instance, and you want to increase your monthly revenue by, say, 2 million. Break that down by service line or by major clients and create a realistic path of how you're going to add extra 2 million to what you're currently doing. Number two area that you need to be setting goals is your operations and systems. Bible says in 1 Corinthians 14, verse 40, it says, let everything be done decently and in order. God is a God of order. He expects you to run your business orderly as well. Okay? So, for instance, you may have to think about streamlining your delivery or your order processing or your team workflow, because that may be where you're really even losing money. Okay? You may have to think about setting up automated invoicing if you see that there are gaps there. Anything that you are still doing manually and is taking a lot of time to get done, it's time for you to automate it. If there are technology opportunities for you to leverage. It may be time for you to hire a virtual assistant to help you reduce your admin and reduce your overwhelm as much as possible. It may be time for you to begin to document your standard operating procedures so that your team members understand what they're supposed to be doing and they can standardize the process. Okay? Clarity reduces chaos. Systems help you to free your time so that you can focus on what only you can do. And you don't do the work that other people are supposed to be doing. I've seen business owners who hire people and then they do the work of the people that they have hired because they have no clarity on what is supposed to be their CEO roles. I've had clients like that, you know. Imagine a woman running a fashion brand and gets to a point where she needs to decide to start taking orders on WhatsApp because it's just chaotic. You can't follow through. And now she needs to set up an online store that allows her to be able to increase efficiency. Audit your channels. Where is the chaos coming from? There are many times that many of you are running businesses and inquiries are coming in for your business and your team are dropping the ball because there's no follow-up. And that is where you're losing money. You may need to audit those processes and say, where are we losing money? Where are we dropping the balls? Where are we not engaging our customers as much as we should? People have placed inquiries. It's taking them 2-3 hours before they responded. They moved on. That's your money gone. The third area you're supposed to be setting goals is your marketing and brand visibility. The Bible says in Matthew 5, verse 14 and 16, it says, you are the light of the world. Don't hide it under a basket. How will people know about your business when you're not marketing it? You're not positioning your brand correctly to the target audience. Are you even clear who your target audience is? And if you are, how well are you engaging them? Do they see you? Are you top of mind? Think in terms of social media consistency, for instance. If you use social media for your business, and I think everybody really uses social media these days. So for somebody, it may mean that you are, making a commitment to show up at least 3 times weekly, say on Instagram or LinkedIn, whatever social media that you use. For another person, it may mean that you're looking to build your mailing list to maybe 5,000, 10,000 subscribers because you want to launch a new product and you want to launch it using email campaigns. For another person, it may mean that you're getting into PR or brand partnerships, collaborating with other kingdom women in business to position your business to the right audience. Imagine someone that is a baker, say in Abuja, sets a goal to be featured in one local food blog every month and posts on Instagram, say they use Instagram Reels 3 times a week. Now that is more defined. And one of the things that you are looking at is that, this particular blog has a lot of subscribers. And that's why sometimes you have to position yourself not just with your own platform, but with other platforms that you may have to even pay to access because it has your target audience in there. And you need to identify what those channels are. Visibility is a ministry. Okay? If you have not heard that before, visibility is a ministry. People need to know you before they can be blessed by your offering. So see it like that. Number 4 area that you're supposed to be setting goals is your customer experience and retention. Bible says in Philippians 4:5, it says, let your gentleness be evident to all. That goodness that your business is, that brilliance, that excellence that your business is, let it be evident to all. Let your customers feel it. What is your customer value proposition? What is your brand promise to your customers? Okay, so when you think about areas that you can improve or you can set goals as regards your customer experience, for instance, for somebody, it may mean that you are improving your after-sale follow-ups by implementing client feedback surveys. I have a particular skincare brand that I buy skincare products from on Instagram. After you've completed your order, they've delivered and everything, they will always send you an email asking whether your order was good, whether you're happy with it, whether the experience was whatever, and whether you've started using the skincare product and what your thoughts or your feedback is. That's the only skincare brand that I've seen, and I bought skincare products from many brands before. The moment I saw these guys doing this, I said, these guys have gotten something right. And they would even now set up they will ask you if you want to have like a one-on-one conversation with a skin, I don't know
Dermatologist.
whatever they call them, yeah, so that they can
Yeah.
advise you on how to even use their product, what you are trying to address as maybe the skin issue that you have, and the products that you've bought, how to use them. I mean, there was a time I bought all manner of things from them, and by the time I spoke to one of them, the person just said, you bought too many things. You just bought Rishi. You don't even know what you should. In fact, just go and keep this one aside for now. Just focus on these 3 products because of X, Y, and Z. And they gave me, and they checked in like a week or 2 after. That is improving after sale follow-up. Okay? For some of you, it's about improving after sales support. For another person, it could be that you're building a referral system into your business. I've seen how to use that a lot, even in my own, consulting business, and even in my coaching programs, right? I'm doing that, I'm using it and it's really working. For another person, it may mean that you're setting up customer onboarding process that allows you to be able to onboard your customers properly. And if you're getting 100 inquiries, you're at least bringing in 90% of those inquiries converted into sales. For another person, it is that. For another person, it's that you're sending monthly newsletters or educational content that helps your, customers or your target audience know what you offer, why they should consider you, why they should buy from you. Remember, happy clients are retained clients. I bought a lot of things from this particular skincare brand that I talked about. I've made several purchases. I don't even wait for my skincare products to finish before I replace, and every time they will just put a little gift, which is, I mean, I just feel like they're doing a lot of things right. Like I can market them like, I don't want to give them free advertisement, but I'm so satisfied with the service I have gotten from them. The product is good. The service is good. Do you understand? So referrals is equal to revenue that you did not chase. So for some people, it is how you're going to leverage referrals for your business. Having other people do the work for you. I know a coach that started sending thank you notes and discount vouchers to repeat clients. I've had to offer discounts to returning coaching clients into my one-on-one coaching program. Just different things to make the client happy, to pull them in. I'm hosting a coaching retreat in the UK, and I just mentioned it to 2 of them, and one of them already said, don't worry, I'm going to offer you my Airbnb in the UK. I'm going to do all the, running around and the logistics for you. That's our own way of saying thank you. I mean, I'm like, I didn't ask for that. I was just saying, I'm trying to look for an event place where we can use that. I was like, no, don't worry about that. I can offer you my Airbnb. It's a 4-bed, whatever. And she sent me the links immediately. She sent me everything. I'm like, what? That's somebody that paid her money for me to be a coach. Do you understand? And she's willing to offer me an Airbnb for 2 days free of charge. That's a satisfied client. Number 5 area that you should be setting goals on is on your team and talent development. Ecclesiastes chapter 4 verse 9 says, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. You can't execute your business vision by yourself alone. You will burn out, premium burnout, and you won't be able to even scale that vision. So you need to hire strategically, even if it is part-time, even if there are interns. Hire strategically. Create clarity on team roles and responsibilities, clear deliverables with documented job descriptions and KPIs. I had a session with a prospect, not yet a client, a prospect who runs a corporate securities business. And this man has been in business for years. The man is nearing 70. He has 4 years to 70, so he's 66. And he just told me all the many troubles that he has in the business. One of the things that he hasn't gotten right is how to hire strategically, have the right people in his business. He's been the only one that has been the deal maker in the business for the many years. The business started in 2001. That's how many years? 24 years. 24 years. He's been the only one bringing business for 24 years. He has told himself that he's the only one that has the network that can bring the business. I said, sir, you're about to be 70. You don't have the same energy when you were in 2001. How come you did not build people who could also bring business? Say, we hired marketers at different times and da. I said, sir, marketing will not help. Hiring a marketer will not help you because of the kind of business you do. It shows that you don't understand your business. Because if you understand your business, you will realize that the lead time it takes for any client that you're talking to convert is usually 3 to 6 months. So you hire a marketer who goes out every day and speaks to people. So within 3 to 6 months, they haven't brought in any business, but you are paying them salary. How does that work? How is it that your operation people are not trained to also bring business? I mean, an operations person can go and submit proposal. Your proposals are standard proposals. They don't even have to go there to do any pitches. You can take these standard proposals between one street and another. You can find like 10 different businesses that they can submit those proposals. How about you set those type of targets for your people and leverage the team that you already have instead of paying marketers? It was like light bulb moment for him. He started writing notes. And then he said to me, oh, we have other branches, other hubs in other states. No business is even coming from there. The people are just mismanaging things. I said, sir, the people that are in these hubs, do they have a P&L of those hubs? Are you treating those hubs as cost center or as a profit center? Because if those profit centers or those hubs are not generating business, but their salaries are being paid, logistics, operational costs are being taken care of, please, where is that money coming from, sir? You have inadvertently enabled their mediocrity because whether they deliver, they don't deliver, their salaries get paid. So you have enabled no performance. So hence why we're where we are. So how about they see their P&L? Month 1, 0 revenue, costs 500,000, loss 500,000. Month 2, 0 revenue. Let them see how it's building up. And then tell them that if we get to month 6 and there is still no business, we're going to shut down this hub or I'm going to replace all of you. Then come and see how they will get into action. Do you see? So you need to leverage your team. You need to know how to convert your team, how to leverage them to bring business, how to leverage them, how to sweat your asset. Your team are also your asset. Know how to sweat your assets as much as possible. Conduct mid-year performance appraisal. If you've never done it before, let this mid-year be the mid-year that you do performance appraisal. Check in with them. For some people, you may have to do monthly check-in with your staff. That is if you have set clear targets that you can measure them against, because there's nothing you're checking in if they don't even know what they're working for or what the goalpost is. So they don't know whether they've scored or they've not scored or whether they are close to the goalpost or not. You are not called to do business alone. Even Jesus had a team. Okay? Imagine someone running a cleaning agency, for instance, and then decides to train 2 of our most trusted staff to become supervisors so that she can reduce micromanaging and scale better. One of the questions I asked that man that day was, sir, you're going to be 70 and you're looking to retire at 70. Have you identified a successor in your business? And he goes, oh, yeah, it's only one person. But even that one person, even though he understands the business, but he's not a front, he's not someone that leads from the front. He's an operations guy. He's a guy at the back end that gets the job done. But in terms of, presenting or representing the company, he's not really been what I said. Then you need to start training him. When you go for your meetings with your clients and whatever, carry him along. Let him be the one to do the presentation. He will correct himself. And then he will continue to grow. If he needs training, send him to Lagos Business School, wherever. Let him go and learn. Do you see? For some of you, you need to find those people among your team that you can begin to work on and groom to take on bigger roles so that you have less headaches. Number 6, which is the last area that you should be setting goals, is your personal growth and your spiritual anchoring. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23 says, above all else, guard your heart. For some of you, you may need to schedule weekly rest and block out 1 week block out your weekly, maybe what you call CEO day or vision day or whatever day you want to call it. Because the reason a lot of our businesses are not growing is because we don't have thinking time. The same ideas you caught 5 years ago is what you're still running on. Nothing fresh, nothing new, nothing strategic. Schedule weekly rest. For me, I get a lot of creative ideas from a place of rest. When I'm not in hustle mode, when I'm just resting, the ideas will just be flowing. My creative juices will be flowing. I'll be forcing myself, Bella, you're supposed to be resting. You are resting. How come now is when all these ideas are flowing? And sometimes I'm just writing them down. Sometimes I'm just sending them to my team members. Work on this, do more research on this. Engage with so person on this, Some of you may need to invest in business mentoring or paid business coaching, by the way, to keep you accountable. Because you see all those free things that we do all around, it doesn't do much. I've been a business coach for a while. I know the difference between free and paid. I can tell you for free. Read business books. Set spiritual growth goals. Pray over your business every morning. A thriving business is a byproduct of a thriving soul. If your soul is burdened, if your soul does not have rest, it will tell on your business. I told that man that day, I said, sir, you're losing momentum. You're losing interest in this business. I said, very soon your team members will catch that energy. They will catch your low energy and it will begin to tell on the morale of your team members. You don't want to get there. You don't want to burn out and your team members begin to feed on your low morale, your low energy. If you're burnt out, not because your business is failing, but because you've been trying to pour from an empty cup, it's time for a reset. Your goal here, for instance, may be that you rest every Saturday. People that work from back to back, your goal may be that you will rest, intentional rest every Saturday. No client calls, no meetings, no laptop, no opening of laptop. Or you commit to one personal retreat every quarter. You just take yourself out for 3 days over a weekend and just be alone by yourself, just feeding your body, soul, and spirit. And then you come back rejuvenated, re-energized. So how are you going to set your second half goals? With God and wisdom. I'm just going to give you a few steps. Step one, reflect. What has worked in H1? What did not work in the first half of the year? Where did you experience grace? Where was the struggle? You need to reflect on all those things. Number 2, pray. Start with surrender. Lord, what are you asking me to build in this season? I personally feel like I'm in my building season because a lot of different things just coming to me. That's what I perceive. I'm in a building season because just too many things. So, Lord, what are you asking me to build in this season? What are you inviting me to focus on in this season? Even as many ideas are coming to me, I'm still asking, God, yes, I know that you're giving me all this, but which one should I start with? Which one should I focus on? Do you understand? You need to ask. Number 3, prioritize. Focus on 3 to 5 core goals. Don't try to do 20 things. Even Jesus did not heal every sick person. No, he didn't. So focus on 3 to 5 core goals that will move the needle for you. That if you achieve these 3 things or 5 things, you have done well. Make them specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. If you say you want to grow your business, you can say, I want to add 10 million in new revenue by the end of July by launching a new product package of whatever. Yeah. Make it clear, break it down. That's the next step. Step 4, break it down. When you have set the goal, that big goal of what it is you want to achieve, break it down. Monthly, weekly, daily action steps. Make each step feel doable. When you set the big goal and you leave it like that, You just be looking at it, will look like a mountain to you. Like, wait, God, how are we going to get here? But if you're able to break it down, that your monthly goal of 3 million, break it down. It means that every week you must do 750K. If you don't finish yourself, if you don't do up to 750K in 1 week, by the following week, you know you have a catch-up to do. So you add it to the following week. If you're able to break it down, 750 will look doable than when you're thinking at, about 3 million. Do you see? So break it down. Break it down. You want to grow your Instagram page by 1,000 new whatever. What are you going to do? We're going to post 4 times a week. We're going to collaborate with a social media influencer. We're going to host IG lives with whatever. We're going to just break it down. What are you going to do? Daily actions. Step 5, review regularly. Track and celebrate. Check in monthly with yourself. Do monthly performance reviews. Not only big companies that do MPRs. Small companies should do it too. It's a business principle or business practice that is healthy, that helps you to check the health of your business. Sit with your team members, review your performance on a monthly basis. And that's why you must have books of account. You must be able to prepare your numbers so that at the end of every month, you see where you are versus where you want to be. So adjust based on outcomes and new insights that are coming. Be flexible, but focused. Don't wait till December to clap for yourself. Progress is progress, no matter how small. Add a celebration goal to it. Give yourself a treat if you meet your goals, or at least if you hit a certain level, in your goals. So as I wrap up, I'm going to leave you with some questions for reflection. Okay? What's the one thing that I need to let go of from the first half year? What's the one thing? For somebody, it may be a task that you've burdened yourself with, and now it's time for you to delegate it to somebody. For another person, is an unprofitable client that you need to let go of, or an unprofitable business. Just think generally, what is the one thing that I need to let go of from the first half of the year? Number 2, what season is my business in right now? What season is my business in right now? Number 3, what 3 goals will bring me the most transformation in Q3? What 3 goals will bring me the most transformation in Q3? And number 4, who do I need to become to sustain the business that I'm praying for? Remember that your business is also a reflection of you. If you are growing, your business will grow. Yeah, sometimes the reason our business is not growing is because we ourselves are not growing. Because your capacity to think, your capacity to create is fundamentally a function of how well your own capacity, personal capacity, is growing. So, this is a charge for you to build boldly, to build faithfully, to build intentionally. Remember, we don't just build businesses just to pay bills. In fact, I don't want to have conversation with business owners whose mentality is just, let's just be running the business so that we can pay our bills and we live, eat whatever we're making and die. No. We're talking about structured business, generational business. Okay, question 4 is, who do I need to become to sustain the business that I am praying for? Who do I need to become to sustain the business I'm praying for?
Do you want to sleep? I mean,
Okay. Remember, we build because we've been called. You're not just building a business, you are co-laboring with God to build something that glorifies Him and blesses others. So don't just drift. Let me just go over the questions again. Question 1, what is the one thing I need to let go of from the first half year? Number 2, what season is my business in right now? What season is my business in right now? Number 3, what 3 goals would bring the most transformation in my business in Q3? And number 4, who do I need to become to sustain the business that I am praying for? I hope we've got all the questions. All right? So don't just drift into the second half year. Design it, declare it, work it out. All right? as you enter into the second half of the year, be intentional, not emotional. Be discerning, not desperate. Be strategic, not scattered, not chaotic. And most of all, be obedient, not just to the goals, but to God. I'll end with this Bible passage. Proverbs 21 verse 5 says, the plans of the diligent lead to profit. That's the Bible. The plans, meaning God expects you to plan. The plans of the diligent lead to profit, as surely as haste leads to poverty. So if you're just running, just doing the same thing, the Bible has given us clear guidelines. Bible also says in Proverbs 16 verse 3 says, commit your plans to the Lord. If you don't have plans, what are you committing? Commit your plans to the Lord, and He will establish them. So you've got everything you need to thrive. And I love the name of this platform, Thrive by Design. So yes, you thrive by designing. You've got everything you need to thrive. So go and set those goals. Build with clarity. Partner with God for success. And may God bless all our efforts in Jesus' name. Amen. I think I can take questions now, even though it looks like I've over time.
Oh, please, questions. If you have questions, please do ask in the chat box. Biola, I just want to say that was wow. And then I kept taking notes. I hope that we all got some. I kept taking notes. I mean, a few things stood out for me. God likes flow, but He requires fruits. Fruits requires planning. Faith without strategy is noise. As in, I just kept
Your
writing.
network is breaking.
Oh, really?
You're going in and out.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay, please, let's go on to questions. Okay, please, if you have questions, let's ask. Kindly ask if you have questions. Ask in the chat box. And Biola, you're still host. So yes, please, you can mute anybody who's making noise. And then please, if you have any questions, please ask in the chat box.
Do we have any questions? Okay, it looks like we don't
There's a
have.
question in the chat box.
Okay,
Let me read that to you.
I can see it actually.
Yeah.
I took notes and I'm very inspired. I have a question though. I've been in a 9-to-5 job that I've truly enjoyed for the past 5 years, but lately it started to feel burdensome and unfulfilling. How do I know when it's the right time to step away and pursue something on my own? This is a journey I've been on, or I've been through, rather. Pray, first of all. Pray. As you pray, seek clarity. So one of the things that I did, for instance, was I sought out a coach, right? And while I was praying, I was trying to find what was it that was itching me. Because in my case, I was in a job that I was in a job that was like a job that other people were praying for. Okay. So there was nothing about my job that should make me feel unfulfilled. Like that's something that people that are ahead of me in the industry, I've not even gotten to that level. And, I just happened to, I've gotten some sort of acceleration in my career. And so I'm in this job and I'm supposed to be okay. I'm supposed to be fine. But all of a sudden, I still feel this itch as if there's still something that is missing. And I'm like, what is it? What is it? So in a place of prayer, ask God. It will begin to nudge your heart on things that you're supposed to be doing. Sometimes when God is preparing us for something bigger or for something else that He wants to do, it makes you to begin to feel uncomfortable. Something that should make you feel, okay. all of a sudden is no longer okay, right? Something that delighted you at some point no longer delights you. Something that made you fulfilled at some point no longer makes you feel fulfilled, right? So you need to go on a quest, go on a journey, begin to pray prayers of inquiry, okay? And then seek out coaching as well. It helped me. I got clarity in a coaching session that gave birth to my consulting business. Not that I got that directly from the coach, but the journey that I went on in that coaching experience led me to a personal reflection that helped me to identify what I was supposed to be doing that would bring me fulfillment. And that was how I birthed my consulting business. And I started it even while I was in my 9 to 5. For you, it may not be that same experience. It may mean that maybe you step into a new role. It may mean that you take on new challenges. It may mean that you step out of your industry and go into a new industry, or you change your job and move into another whatever. It may mean different things, right? But you need to pray, inquire, and God will give you direction. How do you balance all these things as a startup fabric business owner that does everything in the business on your own without another person? So there are times and seasons in businesses. So there's a time when it is only you. And there are times as you grow that you realize that it's now time to bring on the next person. That next person could easily be maybe an admin person, your personal assistant. That may be where you start from. Do you see? But you will know when it's time to bring on the next person. And it doesn't mean that you have to do all of these things by yourself. Or what I mean by that is you need to prioritize what is important to you. Do you see what I mean? You need to prioritize what is important to you. You need to be discerning to know when it's time to bring on the next person to support your business. For instance, the reason your one-man business may not be growing may also be because you are the only one doing everything. So you need to get to a point where you're asking yourself, what are the most value-adding things or activities of this business that only me can do? And they are the things that have direct impact on whether I make money or I don't make money. Those ones, you will focus on it and then be able to do more of it when you free up your time and you delegate things that are recurring, that are not so value-adding, or they are not so strategic, to another person. I'll give you the example of one of my clients. While she wasn't particularly a one-man business, what she struggled with was that she wanted to scale her business, but she couldn't scale because she was doing about the same thing that she was doing when it was just only her. So she hired people and she was still doing their job. And she wanted to be able to expand her business and find new locations and whatever. And we went on this journey where she was able to see, oh, there are things that I'm doing that I'm actually supposed to either outsource or delegate so that I can focus on this big one that is going to move the needle for my business. So for you, yes, you're at a level right now where it feels like you're the only one doing it. But as time goes on, you may find that you may have to outsource certain things so that you can free up time to be able to focus on the most critical area of your business. And that most critical part could be marketing and sales, because you need to bring the revenue in. But because you are the one that is running to go and do the delivery, how will you be able to do marketing when you're the one on the road that is running to do delivery? Do you see? So at that point, you may realize that it's like this delivery, we need to outsource it so that I can really focus on this marketing, which is what is going to bring the business in. Do you see what I mean? It's about sitting down and analyzing what you do. Which ones are the most value adding that I must be the one to necessarily do it? And the other things I outsource it so that you find somebody that can do it with small money. Hire interns. You don't have to go and hire the most expensive team member. Do you understand? Start with interns. Start with even virtual assistant that can take some burden off you so that you can find time to do more strategic things and grow your business. Okay. You stated a few statements with as you enter into second half, be intentional, not emotional. Can you say the other 3 statements that you said right after that? Jesus Christ, where was that? I'm not sure if I can remember when I said it. Was it towards the end? Oh, okay. Towards the end, I said be intentional, not emotional. Be discerning, not desperate. Be strategic, not scattered or chaotic. And most of all, be obedient, not just to your goals, but also to God. I hope you got that. Someone says I'm a new business owner and most of the things discussed here are really helpful. I'd love to ask, is it ideal for me to keep my business on hold to take some trainings about it? And if yes, how do I keep my appearance consistent to my audience so as not to lose them when my business is on hold? Okay, because I don't have a lot of context, I don't know what this business is. But one of the ways you can definitely continue to engage your audience, if you necessarily have to put it on hold to get some training, because again, if you feel like the training will help you to be able to serve them better, then perhaps maybe it may be time for you to really pause and go for that training and then come back better and be able to serve them. But one thing you can do is nurture that audience. I don't know where you keep the audience, whether they're on Instagram, they're on a mailing list. Nurture them with content that are educational, that shares, that keeps you top of mind. Okay, so let's say that I sell fabrics, but for some reason I need to go and learn about how to, whatever, I don't know, about the fabric. I can share content about how to use their fabric, how to style their fabric, how to take care of their fabric. I'm not particularly saying come and buy, come and buy, come and buy, because I'm on sabbatical, I've gone on training. So I'm not particularly pushing any sale, right? But make sure that you're nurturing that audience so that you're still top of mind. They still, they still see you. They still see your content. And so when you're ready to now start saying, oh yeah, oh, we've come back, oh, there are now new packages, new services, new product, new whatever, it won't sound like, so where did you go all this while that you're just coming and it's now that you want to collect our money, you're coming back. Do you understand? So nurture the audience, nurture your customers while you're away or while you feel like you need to take that training. And there are some trainings that may not require you to shut down the business. Again, because I don't have context, I really can't tell. But if you feel like you must shut down, make sure that you nurture your audience while you're at it. I think that's about it. Yes, I think that's
Wow,
all.
thank you so much, Bella. Thank you so much. It's been my experience of you already made me know that there was no way we weren't going to get a lot of value from this. I still very much owe the structure in my businesses to you, and you've always known your onions. I'm so grateful for you pouring out to us today. And my prayer is that every woman that has been in this class would look back on this class and will be able to say, God sent Abiola Adediran on my way today. In Jesus' name. God bless you. Thank you for your time. Thank you, everyone that has come in. Thank you for your attentiveness. Thank you for your questions. Please go back and go over your notes, implement. Remember that when you learn, if it stays in your notes, you could have as well not just attended class. But when you go back and the beautiful thing she's done is that she broke it down step by step. And these are things that she gets paid for. But she took her time, broke it down. Please go back to your notes and build the second half with God's design in mind and with a lot of strategy on the table. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Abiola. God bless us all. Yes, we would send the record. Well, we would have to speak with Bella first. If she's comfortable with that, we will share the recording with everyone.
Of course, please,
Okay,
by all
very
means.
well, perfect. Okay, perfect. So we will share the recording so that we can go over it, and also so that other members of the community who couldn't join can have access to it. It's also on YouTube, on Ibukade Bio on YouTube. We would also try to put it on Biola. Biola, what's your YouTube page again? And she has content on her YouTube that you can learn from. Our Instagram handle is
Just
at
look for
Biola
Biola
Flow.
Flow.
Biola Flow as in BIOLAFLOW. So you can go to her Instagram
Yeah,
handle.
it's
It's also
Biola Flow.
Biola Flow.
It's
Yes,
Biola
so that's
Flow on YouTube.
Biola Flow on YouTube, Biola Flow on Instagram. She pushes out quite some content and you can learn more from her. Remember that we thrive by design, and that design is both physical and spiritual. We have no excuses on the table and we do not take them. God bless us all and enjoy the rest of the evening.